for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur.
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the spot!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Stanley pour les Canadiens, le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together they worked a young team to the top. And now a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Vida Tibi. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Good evening, and thanks for being here and watching the Sick Podcast on this Tuesday, May 27. I'm Marinaro, and you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And the Sick Podcast is brought to you in part by Energy Transportation Group, a leading full-service logistics provider serving all of North America, driven to be different. It's also brought to you in part by those guys right over there, Bittt. They launched their new Ultra Lager. It's a refreshing, thirst-quenching beer, perfect for the summer with only 90 calories, 2 grams of carbs, and 4% ABV per can, available in a pack of 6 to 12 in grocery stores all around the province of Quebec. Ultra light and ultra refreshing. And also brought to you in part by Betway, who you're putting your money on to win the Stanley Cup. Go all the way with Betway. Get a free bet up to $200 if your first bet loses. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offers only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. And please play responsibly. So on Sunday night, a couple of nights ago, once again, I was at the Sports Celebrity Evening and for the Cummings Center Foundation in support of seniors' health. And they were honoring Carey Price. And I had a short time with Carey, but a good time. And yesterday we brought to you a podcast that featured one of the two chairs of the event, Mike Wagan, as well as Carey Price and Bob Gainey. Well, on that night, we also had a chance to speak with Stu Cowan of the Montreal Gazette, Mike Cohen of the Suburban, and former Montreal Canadiens Marco Scandella and Paul Byron. And that's what we're going to bring to you here tonight on the Sick Podcast. So without further ado, we start things off with Stu Cowan and Mike Cohen. It's the Sports Celebrity Evening honoring Montreal Canadiens. I think we could call him legend, even though his jersey is not up in the rafters just yet.
Yeah.
Carey Price is being honored here tonight. I've been at this event very, very often in the past couple of years or in the last decade or so. I know so has Stu Cowan, and of course so has Mike Cohen. And Mike's dad was a big part of this event as well. And Mike Cohen, several years ago, Mike Cohen of the Suburban, came out with the Larry Fredericks Award honoring his dad and giving it out to a member of the media, of course, who does amazing work. And I've been a recipient in the past, and I thank you very much for that honor again, Mike. And I know that you're very happy to make another announcement today to another very deserving winner.
Well, very pleased to present the award this year to Stu Cowan of the Montreal Gazette. Stu, who I go back when we were teenagers almost in the press box, and I was in the press box shadowing my dad, who Stu knew very well. So it means a lot to me that in the many years that we've given this award out, there's always been someone who knew my dad, who was a sports writer for almost 50 years in the press box. And so, Stu, congratulations, well-deserved.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the award. I remember your dad spending great time with him in the press box at the Forum and at the Bell Center going back many, many years. Back when I had hair, he even knew him back then. Right. It's a long time ago. But I really appreciate this. I know Tony's won it before, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe Red Fisher.
Red Fisher was the first winner. Dick Irvin was the second winner. You're in really good. Michael Farber was the winner. Mitch Melnick was the winner. Herb Zurkowski, Dave Stubbs. I can go through them all.
Well, if it wasn't for Red, I wouldn't be here, because Red's the one who hired me at the Gazette. Took a chance on a young kid. Gave me a chance to do the scoreboard page, the old stats page, and that's how I got my foot in the door at the Gazette Sports Department. And many years later, as I progressed along and times changed, and at one point I became Red's boss as sports editor, although Red always was his own boss and sort of did his own thing. And Red would always poke his head in my office, not always, but once every couple of weeks, and say, "Remember who hired you, kid?" And I never forgot. I've never forgotten. If it wasn't for Red, I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys today.
How many years in the biz, Stu, and how much has the business changed since when you started?
It's going on, it's like 40 years, and it's changed a lot. I mean, right now, the Gazette Sports Department is myself and Herb Zurkowski and Jeff Blond, who's our boss. And when I became sports editor, I guess it's about 20 years ago, we had about 8 writers. We had 6 full-time editors on the sports desk. It's not just the Gazette, it's all media has changed, and numbers have unfortunately dropped. So it's changed a lot. And the other biggest change for us in the newspaper business is we've become a website-first operation, like just every newspaper, right? I mean, we used to publish 7 days a week. We don't publish on Sunday or Monday now. But there's still a lot of people out there who like the print product and like having the feel of that print newspaper in their hand every day. So we still have that, but it's become a web-first production like every newspaper and every media outlet out there.
Stu, I said before that I'm lucky to do what I love, right? This is what I always dreamt of doing. I would imagine the same thing goes for you.
Exactly. I mean, as a kid, I dreamed of either playing for the Montreal Canadiens or pitching for the Boston Red Sox. Those were my 2 big dreams. And the next best thing was to be able to cover sports for a living. So I've never forgotten how fortunate I am to do what I do. I've never forgotten how much I appreciate Red taking a chance on me when he did to give me that opportunity to get my foot in the door. And yeah, you sit in the press box, and I'm sure you're the same way, Tony, at the Bell Center, and there's times we're lucky to do the jobs we do. There's a lot of work. You work every Saturday night, for one thing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of perks and benefits to the job, too, and we're getting paid to cover sports. So I'll never complain about long hours or travel or anything like that because I'm very fortunate to do what I do.
Everyone wants to retire at one point and do something else and go on vacation, sit on the beach and stuff like that. But it's one of those jobs, probably more so than a lot of them, where you want to try and put off retirement as much as possible, right? Some just don't want to retire. I
mean, I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. If I stop loving what I do one day, that'll be the time for maybe to pack it in. But I know I've had a lot of friends of mine who've retired early, and they're bored after a little while. And so I'm happy what I do. I like staying busy. I'm not good at having a long vacation. After I left being sports editor and I became sports columnist, for the first time, this is going back about maybe 7-8 years ago, for the first time since I was 16, I had more than 2 weeks vacation, had a month off.
Wow.
And going into it, it was like, wow, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
But week 4, I was starting to get itchy to do something. So I'm not good at doing nothing. I've never been good at doing nothing, so I'll always find something to do and keep busy.
Mike, Stu Cowan's a good writer and is an even better person if it's possible. I would imagine for you this was an easy one.
Well, it was about time, and Stu comes to our event every year, always supports the event, writes fantastic feature stories in advance and after the fact, and I want to commend Stu not only for his coverage and his interesting columns, but I love him on social media. And, when there's a game on, I follow X. I'm not a big person at X anymore. I'm an Instagram guy now. Mike Cohen, CSL, by the way, you always help me with my followers, so my Instagram is booming, but not at the level of Stu Cowan. And Stu, your X account, really, at the games, you're posting videos, breaking stories, and it's really enjoyable.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I mean, part of the job is there's things that we maybe take for granted, Tony, like things we see in the arena and whatnot, and it's just basically sharing some of that stuff with the fans who don't get a chance to maybe see a picture of the alumni room or what it's like outside the Canadiens locker room or what it's like for fans. And I think you got to realize, too, Canadiens fans aren't just in Montreal, right? They're all over the world, all over North America, all over the world. You really realize that when you travel with the team.
Yeah.
So many road games like Calgary, Vancouver, it's like a home game for the Canadiens. So there's fans everywhere that don't get an opportunity to see and experience what we do at the Bell Center. So part of my job, especially on X, is just sharing those experiences, sharing those videos and images with them.
Mike, I'll share this story with you. When we decided to go full-time with the Sick Podcast, now we started part-time maybe back in 2020 or so. It could be 2019. I don't remember anymore. But when we decided to go full-time was pretty much September of 2022. Stu's been with us for the longest time.
Yes, he's a regular guest.
He is a regular guest. And, there's times where guests become challenging. And you know what? Someone can't do it. Someone backs out at the last minute. And every time I pick up the phone and I call Stu, by the way, can you do this? Yeah, sure. Stu, what are you doing right now? I'm walking the dog. Oh, it's because I want the podcast. I'll be home in 15 minutes.
Yes, exactly.
I don't think he ever said no to me.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe once, probably because he had supper plans, and I won't hold it against him, right? But so he's he obviously loves what he does, like we talked about, and he never says no, which is awesome, Stu.
Yeah.
So
Well,
thank you very much, because you've been a big part of the podcast.
I always enjoy going on with you, Tony. The thing you've realized, like, I first got into this business, it was just the newspaper. And you go backwards, speaking about Red, like, social media wasn't around, X wasn't around, all those things. So if you wanted to find out what happened with the Canadiens game, and not all the Canadiens games were on TV back then, you had to wait to get the Star or the Gazette in the morning to read what Red wrote about the game. And when I first started in the business, that's the way it was also. And times have evolved and times have changed. So our jobs have changed. It's more than just writing. It's doing all kinds of stuff and podcasts with you, which I always enjoy doing. So if you don't expand your abilities and what you're willing to do, you're not going to last in this business. And you know that, Tony, because you've done a lot of different things and found your niche now in English and in French, which is fantastic.
Yeah, next up is an Italian podcast. Thank you, Stu. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mike Cohen. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Stu Cowan.
Marco Scandella, who played for the Montreal Canadiens, among other teams. It was a cup of coffee, but it was 20 games, but it was cool while it lasted, huh?
It was brief, but a dream come true.
That's awesome. Let's take a look back at your career, 2010 to 2024. As a kid, you grew up dreaming of playing in the National Hockey League. I would imagine you were able to pull it off. 784 games in the regular season, another 56 in the playoffs. Dream come true. Pretty cool, huh?
Dream come true. I did what I had to do in hockey. I'm really proud of what I did in hockey. I met some great people along the way, and it's been nice to be retired also. The body feels good, healthy again for the first time in a long time. So,
what was the best thing about playing in the National Hockey League?
The people that you meet, the places that you see. I feel like hockey has just really given me an opportunity to meet a lot of cool people, interesting people, and the traveling too. I mean, you just go to different cities every night. You go to New York City one night, you're in LA. Those things are really cool. But I would say, as a kid, you always grow up dreaming about playing in the NHL, and then once you get there, you realize, like, wow, like it is that special. Going into a locker room, the pride of wearing the jersey of the city you represent, just really special.
Like everything, with time, things are supposed to evolve, it's supposed to get better. A lot of players who play in the National Hockey League now, or are recently retired, like yourself, will say, "My God, the game is so fast now." Can you begin to put into words what the game was when you started in the National Hockey League and what it was when you ended?
So in 2010, when I started, we still had touch icing. So that was a rule. Thankfully, they took out so many injuries of guys back checking for an icing. So in that way, it got safer, but guys are much faster. I would say the depth on each team is a lot different. The first line to the fourth line looked a lot different than it does today back in 2010.
Meaning guys, there was more of a gap before, and now there's some fourth lines that can really play hockey?
Absolutely. I feel like the fourth lines were older veteran guys that played a hard-nosed game, and now there's, it's unpredictable. You can get a first-round pick you've never heard of playing on the fourth line, and it's just full of skill that can make plays all over the ice. And these young guys coming through also, the skill level they have is really impressive.
I had a chance to watch the playoffs, and we see the Florida Panthers having a lot of success, and their philosophy is clear, and Paul Maurice doesn't hide behind it, right? We have a big, strong, physical team. I ask everyone to finish their checks. We go in, we forecheck, and we pound the opposition as much as we can. And he's been mic'd up, and you see it. And he says, you hit them every chance you get, because come Game 7, they'll have nothing left. Well, they don't always need Game 7. Sometimes they dispose of teams pretty quickly. But can you talk to us about the difference between regular season hockey and playoff hockey?
Playoff hockey is a completely different animal. I feel like the 82-game schedule is really long. You have to get through it. You got to get as many points as you can and build your team up to be ready for playoffs. But as soon as the puck drops in playoffs, it's a completely different season. The rules don't necessarily change, but the calls are not going to be, those soft calls are not getting called in the playoffs anymore. So it's really, it's a man's game once it comes playoff time, and it's about who's willing to sacrifice. And you brought up a team like Florida. A team like Florida is just playing a physical game, like you said, and just wearing teams down. And that is really important in playoffs, and sticking to the game plan. So they're doing a really good job of that.
In the playoffs, the referees make the players decide the game a lot more so than they do in the regular season. Is that it?
Listen, power plays in the playoffs are really, really important. When you get them, you got to score. So special teams are huge. But I would say a lot of calls go uncalled because the refs also don't want to make, the game-deciding call.
Yes.
They kind of want to let the players decide, which is how I feel like it should be. And that's why I do like the calls that they make in playoffs. I feel like it is a different game, and you can't just call everything, because you could find penalties all over the ice. So that's just what it is in the playoffs. It's a different beast.
It was tough to see Scheifele get called in Game 6, knowing the circumstances that were. He had lost his father earlier in the day. He decided to play the game anyway because it's what his father would have wanted. He actually scored the goal for the Winnipeg Jets. They lose 2-1 in overtime. He picks up a penalty in the dying seconds of regulation. The power play goal is scored with him in the box. But at the same time, the referees had, I think, no other choice but to call that one. But it was that's one where I wish they would have put their whistles away, because it was tough to see them lose that way with Scheifele in the box.
Absolutely. When I watched it, I also felt for him. I lost my father when I played in Minnesota, so I feel for him. And like, what a warrior to show up and play that game for his dad. And you got to give him credit. That just goes with character. This is why playoffs are so exciting. You just see the best and guys giving everything they have. So it's just the best product of hockey. And then you see the character of certain guys that come through, like Scheifele playing.
You see that a lot in hockey and in professional sports. You lose a loved one. In any other walk of life, in any other job, in any other career, you can take a week, 2 weeks, a month. You can take all the personal time that you want. Everyone's different, of course. Athletes, they're different. And they feel like, you know what, they owe a lot to their teammates, and a lot of them come back right away. Marty St. Louis, the head coach of the Montreal Canadiens, his mom passed away, and a couple of days later he was playing in a big playoff game, scored a big goal as well. It's how hard was it for you?
I remember that. He was in New York at the time?
Yeah, with the Rangers,
with the Rangers. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, I'm just thinking back to when I lost my dad. But you also, it's a brotherhood and it's family, and that's what, you're playing for your teammates also, and it's a big hole to fill if a guy doesn't play, and that's what he was feeling too, and also it's just, you want to be in those games no matter what. Those are the most important games. It's how you measure yourself, how you challenge yourself. It's all about the team at that point, and you have to be selfless in those situations.
You talked about the brotherhood and the family. Brendan Gallagher lost his mom late in the season after a long battle, I think 3 or 4 years battling cancer. And he talked about the fact that, when they were out on the West Coast, his teammates took a bus and went to visit him at his family home in Vancouver. There's the brotherhood. There's the family right there. I mean,
says it all. Says it all. And that's what you feel on the team. And that's honestly what I miss the most. That's why coming here and supporting Carey and seeing Paul Byron here, it's fun. It's fun. I'm happy to be here. That's what I miss from playing. It's the thing you miss the most. It's just you get to be a kid for a lot longer than other people. I felt like a kid until last year playing in the league. So
Minnesota, Buffalo, Montreal, St. Louis. You played for 4 teams in the National Hockey League.
4 teams.
I'm going to bring up every team, and I want you to name the first thing off the top of your head that comes up. Minnesota.
Snow.
More than Montreal?
More than Montreal.
Really, eh?
It snows much there.
Unrestricted free agents? I'm not signing there. All right, okay. Buffalo. Chippewa.
Chippewa. No sun.
Wings.
In the winter, you don't see the sun very often, so when you do, you take advantage of it.
Montreal,
honor.
Yeah.
Honor to wear that jersey.
St. Louis?
What a group of people. What a group of people in the city, on the team. What an experience. I did not expect St. Louis to be what it was for me. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I met my wife also while I was playing St. Louis.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty important. And but I can't say that there was one place that I favor over the others. They're all special in their own way. Even in Buffalo, where we were finishing in the bottom 3 of the league, that was a situation from going in Minnesota on a playoff team and then coming into a situation where I got to play on the top 2. A lot of responsibility. I grew a lot as a player, but a lot as a person too, because I was in a situation that was, once you go from a playoff team to a non-playoff team, and now you have to work your way back, and now you're part of that core. It was, I learned a lot about myself, so very, very good experience.
Jeff Molson said a couple of days ago, and a lot has changed with the Montreal Canadiens now since when you used to be a member of the Canadiens, but he said the word is out amongst players in the National Hockey League. We treat players well here. Jeff Gordon, Kent Hughes, Marty St. Louis as coach. Montreal's a pretty cool place to play. Once again, things have changed, but how cool was it for you when you were here?
ultimate hockey experience for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, dream come true. I feel like from the facilities to the people that take care. As soon as I got traded, I had like 15 texts from the guys, from staff reaching out, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Guys, I'm from Montreal. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to my condo. Like, I'll see you at practice tomorrow." But it just feels a little bit different here. And in a Canadian market where there's so much, you're the focal point. You need that support system. So I feel like Kent Hughes was my agent with Cortex, and now obviously very proud of him to be the GM of the Montreal Canadiens.
What can you tell us about him? Like, I think we already know a lot about him, but obviously you have some personal stories. What can you tell us about Kent Hughes, the general manager of the Montreal Canadiens, who was your agent back in the day with Cortex?
Just a very gifted hockey mind, I would say. Just really understands people and the game really well, and so when you have a conversation about hockey, you come back thinking like, wow.
I learned something from him.
I did, yeah. So when he was with the agency, I would ask him a lot of things, and getting to know him was amazing. Just and he always took the time too. He was not afraid to be on a call for an hour and just talk about nothing.
Yeah. So if Marty St. Louis picks up the phone and calls Kent Hughes and they're bouncing ideas off each other, Kent is following. He's
following. Two great minds. I mean,
yeah.
And then Marty's done an amazing job with the team this year, and they have to be proud of themselves. They showed up. They, winning Game 3 too was huge for them. Even making playoffs was just kind of like at the beginning of the season didn't look like it was possible. So got to give that group a lot of credit, especially with that young group and how they're only going to build. So I'm looking forward to watching the Canadiens.
I won't keep you much longer, but for someone who played the position for about 15 years in the National Hockey League, I have to ask you about Lane Hutson, who took the National Hockey League by storm. He comes in as a 20-year-old. He finishes as 21. He's 5'9", maximum 162 pounds. A lot of people are saying this guy's going to get absolutely pulverized in the National Hockey League. There's no way he's going to be able to play all 82 games. He plays all 82 games. He equals an NHL record for the most assists by a rookie defenseman, 60 assists, tying a record that Larry Murphy set back in 1981, if I'm not mistaken. Most assists of any player on the Montreal Canadiens team, third leading point getter on the team, had almost 23 minutes of ice time during the regular season. With Michael Matheson had 24 minutes and 50 seconds of ice time leading the way in the playoffs, was the Montreal Canadiens leading point getter in the playoffs, is one of the 3 nominees for the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year.
The fans in Montreal are lucky for the next foreseeable future, I would say. I mean, I met him for the first time. We did a BioSteel camp in Halifax. This was September 2023, so right before my last season. I got invited. Sid was there, McKinnon, Lane was there. He was actually my D partner. So
I like the blue raspberry, by the way. Even though I like a lot of players like to drink the pink, I like the blue one.
Okay. And meeting him for the first time, you see this little scrawny kid, and you're like in the locker room. He's my D partner, and you don't know anything about him, and then you watch him do his skill work and his edge work, and it's just on another level. He's just very talented, sees the ice really well. And what I was telling people, friends of mine that were like, what do you think of him? Because they didn't think he was really good defensively, and I was just wait. When someone skates like that, they know how to get to the spots they have to get to. So I think his defense is actually really underrated.
I'll give you a stat, and then I'll let you go right after that. You look at his size, and you think that he's going to lose a lot of puck battles. About 250 defensemen played in the National Hockey League this year. If I'm not mistaken, he finished 32nd. Puck battles won in the whole league.
You know who he reminds me of a little bit defensively is Jared Spurgeon, who was my first D partner in the NHL.
Yeah.
So that's a good comparison defensively. Not a big guy, but just its angles and its body positions, which is just that's instinct. So you see it right away. Lane just has those instincts offensively and defensively. I think people don't give him enough credit.
In ending, I want to know what you're going to do now after hockey, but before that, you went back to one of your, was it your former high school?
Former high school, Royal Bell.
And you gave a nice donation.
Yes.
$30,000?
$30,000.
And it went towards?
The student athletes that show the most, promise, just to help them with paying for books and stuff and CJEP. I just wanted also to go back and be an example of like, hey, like you can make it. I thought that was really important to go back and talk to the kids. And also it wasn't just a one-time thing. So I'm going to also be going more often. And I thought giving back in that way and just even if kids see like, okay, somebody from this neighborhood made it, it's possible.
This
that's the message.
this must feel like the most amazing thing to you, though, eh? To be able to do that. You grew up in the neighborhood, and that's where you went to school. You had a fantastic career. You come back, you give money, and you set an example. Good on you, man. It's unbelievable. What do you want to do after hockey?
I'm working on something right now, but I can't really talk about it because it's really early stages. But,
Really, eh?
yeah,
What is it?
I've been working.
Good for you.
But
Good.
I'll tell you eventually when we figure it out.
I know you're going to do well because you always did. Thank you
Tony,
very much.
thank you so
Marco
much. Appreciate
Scandella.
it.
I love this guy.
We're back on the Sick Podcast. I'm Marinaro. He's a familiar face. You've seen him before, a friend of the show, I think, because you've joined us on a couple of occasions, and you always say yes, so I thank you very much for that. Paul Byron, how are you?
Doing well, thanks. How are you, Tony?
Fantastic. Thank you very much. This is a great night. This is a great night where we're honoring actually one of your former teammates and a very good friend of yours, Carey Price. I had a chance to see him earlier on. He looks unbelievable. Eh?
He does.
Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah,
he looks
he's in great
It's good to see
shape.
him.
He looks healthy. He looks well. Looks happy. It's good to see him. It's been a while, and I know we're both pretty busy in our family lives. So comes to town. It was nice to take up on the invite and come show my support.
It's been more than 3 years since his last game. Like, it feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, where's the time gone? It's unbelievable.
Yeah. It goes real fast. I guess that last year together we played our last games a couple weeks apart, and seems like yesterday we were just putting the gear on together and driving down the road on the way to games, preparing for battle, and now it's different. Life's different.
Once again, you still work for the Montreal Canadiens. You have a key role in player development. You saw this team start a rebuild about 3.5 years ago. Not too many people expected them to make the playoffs this year. Good for them. Unbelievable the fact they're able to pull it off and make the playoffs. Ultimately, they lose in the first round to Washington in 5 games, but what an amazing learning experience for everyone. And the fact that it was such a huge challenge to make the playoffs, and they pulled it off. I mean, so many guys passed the test this year.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know when it was that we talked last. Maybe it was the launch for the one-man show, Chris Nyland, and we talked about what was the words that the team used this year? In the mix, right?
In the mix, correct.
And it was so important for development because when you're out early, those games at the end of the year, the teams don't dress their starting goalie. They don't dress their best rosters, or they're resting guys. They're having their rookie parties, or they're going out the night before. Where when you're in the mix and teams are prepared for you, it's a different challenge. And that was what was important for our team, is to get those minutes, get those games, get those reps in where you need to hold a lead in the third period, or maybe you need to go get a goal in the third period. And the whole part of the development phase, it went really well this year, and some guys took some major steps forward, and it was certainly fun to watch.
And you're right, it didn't come easy. It was a season of ups and downs, and down the stretch in the last month they were very good, but in the last couple of weeks it was difficult. Remember, there was that loss in Ottawa on the Friday night. I think it was 5-2 or something like that. The following night they go to Toronto, they lose 1-0 in overtime. They come back, they got the Chicago Blackhawks on home ice, they win the game, they're in the playoffs. They lose to the Chicago Blackhawks a couple of nights later. They beat the Carolina Hurricanes just to get in, but you can tell guys experiencing that for the very first time in their careers. There was a couple of young players, of course, on the team. Lane Hudson experiencing that moment for the first time. Demidov experiencing that moment for the first time. Jacky and Struble and so many others, of course. Samuel Montembeault. So your thoughts on what you saw from this group down the stretch, and then what you saw from them in the playoffs?
Oh, incredible resiliency. I mean, I don't know what the percentages to make the playoffs are based on where we were at the end of October, early November. We didn't, foresee the start of the year maybe going that poorly, but the guys really rallied around Christmas. We put a really great stretch of hockey in, and then there was the I don't know, not the World Cup, but the Four Nation Cup.
Yeah.
And it gave some guys some key guys times to rest and get ready for another big run. And I know we had a little bit of hiccup the last little week there, but like I said, when you get to those end of the road games, speaking from experience, what more fun is it for the Chicago Blackhawks than to play the Montreal Canadiens and take out their playoff chances, right? So those are very, very tough games, and every game having that mindset, that mentality of this could be the game, it kind of wears on you. But the guys did incredible. Some guys really stepped up, like you said. What Nick did at for the team and the way he elevated everybody around him. It was incredible to watch this year, and it was key for those guys to get that experience and feel that at the end of the year.
A young team is amazing. Youthful enthusiasm is amazing, but nothing beats experience down the stretch and in the playoffs, right? And you can tell that experience was probably one of the reasons why the Washington Capitals ended up eliminating the Montreal Canadiens. Jeff Gordon and Kent Hughes at the end of the season said, you know what, we want to keep veterans and have our blend of veterans with young players on the team, but at the same time not at the expense of creating obstacles for young players where they can't get the jump, because we want to give these young players an opportunity. Who are some of these young players, in your opinion, having worked in player development, that are knocking on the door?
Well, we have a lot of guys down in Laval doing very well right now. David Reinbacher, Logan Mailloux, Oliver Kapanen, Owen Beck. Jacob Fowler's now coming into our system and could be full-time in Laval next year or the NHL, whatever happens there in the goalies. That's not my department, so I have no idea.
It all plays itself out at camp in the end, right?
Exactly. We're in a spot now where it's the guy who's performing the best today is going to be the one that plays. But, no one really talks about him, but you have a guy like Adam Engstrom who's doing very well in defense and could be a top prospect anywhere else. You have William Trudeau that you never know. He could surprise somebody. He's got a couple years experience now and could fill a role that's much needed. And, to see what Laval's doing, I'm a little disappointed. I'm not getting to be there for Game 5 tonight. I'd really wanted to go to that game, but the experience those young guys are getting there too at that level is so integral, because when it's time for them to come up and fill a role and fill a void in our team, I think that experience that they've received there is going to help them.
Yeah, I saw all of them. I had a pretty good view. I was sitting a couple of rows up from behind the bench. Game 4, I loved Engstrom. Not too many guys. It was an off night at the office for most of them. I thought Engstrom was really good.
He's solid. He lived with me this summer, and so I got a first-hand look of the kind of person he is and how motivated he was. So I'm super happy with the success he's having. But like I said, we kind of forget about him because Lane did such an incredible job this year.
Yeah.
How do you not talk about Lane? And then you have Gooley and you have Jack Eye and
he lived with you?
He lived with me for a few weeks in the summer. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, it started last summer. Rob Ramage called me, and Logan Mailloux was looking for a place to stay and train. He felt like the fit was good. Me, my kids, my family, and Logan, it was incredible. The experience we got. I set up David Reinbacher with my neighbor. I set up Emil Heineman, my other neighbor, and so they had a nice little circle of a group they could go in, train together. One guy had the car, brought everyone in. This year, Logan got a place, so he was on his own, and Adam's name was brought up. We took in Adam. David went back to my neighbors, and Emil went back to the neighbors. So again, it was fun to see the group stay together and work for something.
How important do you think that is for a young player to be able to stay with a family? Because Montreal has its temptations, and if you're single and any player, you can be the first player on the team, you can be the last player on the team. You're a rock star in the city, right?
Yeah.
And so how important do you think it is to kind of be with a family and kind of be insulated that way?
Well, I think it's more than just the trouble. I think you don't realize that, you're 19, 20, 21-year-old and you're going to a new continent, you don't know anybody. It's more for that of feeling like you have someone.
The loneliness, to get rid of the loneliness, right? Yeah, really.
People will look to something to fill a void. Maybe it's to go to the bars or because they don't have anything. So to give them a family, and that's why Adam was so great. My kids, they loved him. He was going in the garage, shooting pucks with them, playing mini hockey, playing NHL. He fit in so well with our family, and that's where I kind of see it's the young guys coming in. They're a lot closer to my kids. My son's 11, my daughter's 12 than they are to me and my wife. I'm 36, and we're just on a whole other level in our life. And they can relate a lot better to my son.
Yeah.
So I think it's great for everybody. They get to come in, they eat well, they get to go to the rink, they train, the focus, the discipline. They get used to what Montreal is. It's they don't have to stress in camp. It's a really nice fit, and so far it seems to be working pretty well.
He's going to play in the NHL?
Adam so. I think so.
I think so too.
I think he's got a pretty nice package, and like I said, I think on many other teams right now he'd be getting a lot more talk than he does.
Yeah. All right. What's up with you this summer? Any plans?
This summer, a lot of golf. I just joined a golf club.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
My neighbors talked me into it. I just got into it when I stopped playing hockey, and the body actually could handle a summer of whacking a ball around and walking the course. So I love that. Other than that, doing some training a little bit with my son, a couple of his friends, but just relax and enjoy the beautiful summers here.
You think the Canadiens are going to have a busy offseason?
I think so. Well, we'll see. I mean, I don't know what the official plan is yet, but you know, you never want to be status quo. You know, there's always rooms to make improvement on the team, and you know, we're at a pretty good juncture right now where we have a lot of good young talent coming into the team. Young guys are taking big steps, and like you said, you want to complement them with good veteran players, but at the same time, you don't want to block. So it's a unique challenge.
It really was a nice season, though, and to see the city of Montreal so proud of their Montreal Canadiens, because they know that the players gave absolutely everything to get to where they got. It was cool. It was nice.
Amazing. The vibe, the feel, going to those last few games, the support they got. You know, it couldn't have gone any better. I think the city was ready for that, and you know, we weren't winning through older guys or throwing money in free agency. It was really our young guys took the reins of the team and really elevated, and I think that's why it felt so great at the end of the year.
One last word, if you can, on Demidov, because I haven't had a chance to talk to you about him yet. I've talked to you about Lane Hudson in the past, but Demidov.
He's incredible. The hockey sense, you know, Marty's talked a little bit about the processing, right? He's got one of the highest processors I've ever seen, the way he anticipates and moves the puck. It was incredible to see him step in and have that kind of impact right away. You know, those aren't easy games, those aren't easy minutes playing against, you know, great hockey players, and he's able to process the game at a high level, very, very, very high IQ, great hands, and I look forward to seeing what he can do at the end of summer. I know he's putting a lot of work right now. He's skating, you know, 2 times a day, some days a week to focus on his skills, but work on his skating and improve that. So
get a little stronger too.
Yeah, get a little stronger. He was just surprisingly strong on his skates, I thought, though. Like, he didn't really get knocked around.
No.
You know, puck battles, stick battles always take time. You know, it comes with you know, learning and practice reps against that strong of people. But
can you imagine when he gets stronger and his body starts to fill out?
It's going to be fun to watch.
It really is. It's always fun to talk to you. Thank you very much, Paul Byron.
Thank you very much.
There you have it.
And yes, once again, what a good time at the Sports Celebrity Evening, and we thank the organizing committee for having us there. It was truly an honor and a privilege, and we thank everyone who joined us on Sunday night. Mike Wagan, Carey Price, Bob Gainey, Stu Cowan, Mike Cohen, Marco Scandella, and Paul Byron. And it was great to see everyone in attendance, about 420 of you, and we thank you very much. We hope to see you there again next year. The Sick Podcast was brought to you in part by Playground. If you're looking for the ultimate entertainment destination, Playground is your ticket to nonstop thrills. Experience heart-pumping gaming action and a world-class poker experience. Playground, the 2025 winner of Fan Choice for the best poker room at the Global Poker Awards. Indulge your taste buds at some of their incredible restaurants. Let loose with live music and electrifying DJs. Enjoy unmatched customer service just minutes from downtown Montreal, right across the Mercier Bridge. Experience the Strip without the trip, and why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary at Playground. Once again, thanks for joining us, and we'll be back tomorrow night. Same time, same place. It's the Sick Podcast, weeknights at 10 p.m. I'm Marinaro.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. La Vida TV, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.